15 tricks. 14 of them cost pocket change, and most you can set up at your kitchen table this week. The 15th costs nothing and weighs nothing, and it is the only one on this list that has ever decided whether a man comes home. I will get to it. It is last for a reason. First, the thing most camping advice has backwards. A camp does not go bad because you forgot some gadget. It goes bad because heat, water, and fire follow rules, and you did not know the rules. Your cold comes up from below, not down from above. Your tent rains on the inside with the door zipped shut. Your fire is hottest right where most men never cook. Every trick here is one of those rules, turned into something you can do with your hands. Learn the rule, and you will not need my trick. You will invent your own. My name is Gus Norvik. I came up to Alaska in 1974. In 52 years, I have made camp in every month of the year. Hunting camps, fishing camps, and a few camps I did not plan on making. The ones you do not plan on are where these lessons come from. 15 tricks, roughly in the order a trip happens. For each one, what to do and why it works. A trick you do not understand is a trick you will do wrong. And the last one only makes sense once you have heard the other 14. Number 1. Your cold is coming from below. Still air moves heat poorly. The ground moves it well. It pulls warmth out of a lying man many times faster than the night air above him. Worse, under your body, the sleeping bag is crushed flat. It was never the feathers keeping you warm. It was the air trapped between them, and crushed insulation holds no air. So dollar for dollar, the pad under you matters more than the bag over you. Closed cell foam is the honest choice. Millions of sealed air pockets that cannot soak up water and cannot go flat. The old men said it plain. One blanket under you is worth 2 on top. Number 2, stop buying ice. Fill jugs about 9 parts of 10 with water and freeze them solid. Water grows near a 1/10 bigger as it freezes, and a full sealed bottle will split. Why does a block beat a bag of cubes? Melting happens at the surface. A block carries far less surface for its weight than a pile of cubes. It gives up its cold slowly, days instead of hours. Freeze your meat too. Every frozen thing in the box is doing ice duty until the day you cook it. And when the jugs melt, you are holding cold, clean drinking water. A bag of ice melts into a gray soup you pour on the ground. Keep the cooler in shade and keep the lid shut. Cold air is heavier than warm, and it pours out over the rim like water. Number 3, read the ground before you pitch. At night, cold air behaves like slow water, heavier than warm air. It slides downhill and pools in the low spots. At dawn, a valley bottom can sit 10, 15 degrees colder than a bench 50 feet up the slope. The hilltop takes all the wind. The bench partway up is the old-timer's spot. Then look straight up. A dead standing tree, or one heavy dead limb, is called a widowmaker, and the name was earned. Check the lean and the limbs before dark, every time. Then look down. Smooth, clean gravel is smooth and clean because water runs there. A dry gully is dry right up until the rain at 2 in the morning. Number 4, the tarp goes up first and comes down last. One plain tarp on a rope ridgeline between 2 trees. 5 minutes after you step off the trail, you have a roof you can stand under. Now the rain can arrive whenever it likes. Firewood stays dry, and gear stays dry. The tent gets pitched underneath it, dry, instead of wrestled wet in the open. One rule about the pitch: steep sides, always. A flat tarp holds rain in a sag, and water weighs better than 8 pounds a gallon. A modest puddle is 40 pounds hanging over your kitchen by morning, and nobody asked the grommets. Number 5, your own breath is the leak in your tent. A sleeping man breathes out around a pint of water in a night. 2 men near a quart. That warm, wet air rises and touches the cold fabric. There it turns back into water, same as on a cold window glass. By morning it drips, and men swear the tent leaked. It leaked from the inside. So the vents stay open even on a cold night. One low, one high, so the wet air has a way out. And no burning anything inside a closed tent. Not a stove, not a lantern, not for a minute. Carbon monoxide has no smell and gives no warning. It has taken better men than the two of us. Number 6. Build your fire at home. Dryer lint is the trick everybody knows, and it works, with 2 faults nobody mentions. Lint off synthetic clothes melts into a bead instead of burning. Even good cotton lint flames out in seconds. The better version is cotton balls worked full of petroleum jelly. The jelly is a petroleum product. It burns like a little candle, 4 and 5 minutes off one ball, and it waterproofs the cotton besides. A pill bottle holds a dozen, and the whole supply costs less than a sandwich. Where birch grows, birch bark is still the king. That oily resin takes a spark soaking wet, but jelly cotton you can make tonight in 10 minutes. The spark is free. The flame has to live long enough to dry and light the small wood above it. Most dead fires die in their first minute. This is you buying that minute at home. Number 7. Cook on coals, not flames. Flame is dirty heat. The yellow in it is unburned carbon. That is the black on your pot. And flame temperature swings by hundreds of degrees with every gust. Coals are the finished product. Steady, even heat you can plan a meal over. So the cook fire burns down first, 30 and 45 minutes. It is ready when the wood breaks into chunks wearing a coat of white ash. Then rake a bed of coals to one side. The fire keeps making more on the left while you cook on the right. 2 stations, 1 fire. Test the heat with your hand where the food will sit, and count. 2 or 3 seconds means a hard sear. 4 or 5 is where most food wants to be. Number 8. One box that never gets unpacked. A grub box lives packed all year. Pots, spices, rope, file, first aid. The small stuff that ruins a trip by staying home. First, the list, glued inside the lid and checked. Checking beats remembering every single time. Second, the trip is not over until the box is refilled, while you still remember what you used. Let the same idea run your food. Do the thinking at home, where it is warm and lit. Batter mixed at home into a squeeze bottle. Meat cut at home. Each supper's spices mixed into one small jar. Camp is a poor kitchen and a worse pantry. Home does the thinking. Camp just does the cooking. Number 9. One knot that slides and then holds. Most camps are held together by granny knots. They either slip loose or weld shut until a knife settles it. The taut line hitch is the cure. Slide it to tighten, and under load it jams and holds. Guy lines, the tarp ridge line, a clothesline, one knot runs them all. The sliding matters because every line in camp goes slack overnight. Wet fabric stretches, and wind works every knot. With this hitch, morning tension is a 5-second slide instead of retying the camp before coffee. And tie a strip of white rag at knee height on every guy line. A stretched line at dusk is invisible, and shins find it before eyes do. Number 10. Dry your boots slow or lose them. The fastest way to ruin boots is the way everybody dries them, propped close to the fire. Leather is skin, and it cooks like skin. Too much heat and it hardens, shrinks, and cracks. The glue in a modern boot lets go at about the same temperature. The rule is your own hand. If the heat is too much for your hand, it is too much for the boot. The old way is warm small stones at the edge of the fire. Warm, not hot. Pour them in and roll them. The boot dries from the inside, never scorched. Overnight, insoles out, tongues open, boots upside down on stakes so ground damp cannot climb back in. Number 11. Eat your way warm. Your body is a stove, and food is its wood. The man shivering at 2 in the morning usually does not have a bag problem. He has a fuel problem. Supper burned out hours ago. Sugar is kindling. It flares quick and is gone within the hour. Fat is the birch log, low and steady for hours, which is exactly the shape of a night. So the bedtime meal is nuts, cheese, sausage. Fat that burns until morning, not candy that quits at midnight. Water is the other half. A dry man's blood thickens, and the body answers by cutting flow to hands and feet first. Cold fingers at night are a thirst problem as often as a mitten problem. Drink before bed. Number 12. Smoke, the oldest bug dope there is. A mosquito finds you by the trail of breath you leave. She reads the carbon dioxide plume from 100 feet out and flies up it to the source. Smoke scrambles exactly that. Sitting in the drift of a smudge, you go blurry to her. A smudge is a small fire made to smoke on purpose. Get it going, then feed it green grass or damp, punky, half-rotten wood. Cool, thick, white smoke is the goal, drifting across where you sit. Some folks burn sage and swear by it. Same trick wearing a nicer smell. The smoke does the work. A smudge is still a fire, so it sits contained and watched like one. And on the trail, the repellent bottle still earns its place. Smoke minds the camp, the bottle minds the walk. Number 13. The bear triangle. 3 corners, 100 yards apart. Cook in one, store food in the second, sleep in the third, upwind of where you cooked. The reason is the nose on the other end. A bear can pick up a food smell from miles downwind. Bacon grease, toothpaste, soap. To that nose, it all says one word, food. So everything with a smell hangs at the food corner. 12 feet up and 6 feet out from the trunk, past a standing bear's reach, or it locks in a bear canister or a vehicle. Nothing with a smell sleeps in the tent, and the shirt you fried supper in is not the shirt you sleep in. A bear that learns camps mean food comes back to camps until the day somebody has to shoot it. A clean camp keeps that day from coming. Number 14. Read tomorrow in tonight's sky. A ring around the moon is light bending through ice crystals miles up. Those high, thin clouds run ahead of a warm front. Rain or snow rides a day, day and a half behind them, more often than not. Your campfire smoke is a pressure gauge you already own. Smoke rising straight means high pressure holding the weather steady. Smoke that flattens and sinks along the ground means pressure falling, and falling pressure is weather on the road. None of this is a promise. It is odds, and the old men played odds because odds were what they had. A weather report beats all of it. The sky is for the country where no report reaches. Number 15. The one that brings you home. Before you leave, write 4 lines on paper. Where you are going, the route you will take, when you will be back, when to start making calls if you are not. The paper goes to somebody reliable, and a copy rides in the truck at the trailhead. Paper, not a phone message. Paper needs no bars and no battery on the day it matters. Now the arithmetic, because this trick is pure arithmetic. A lost man keeps walking, so searchers must draw a circle around his last known point. That circle grows with the square of the hours. Half a day unaccounted for can mean hundreds of square miles. Your 4 lines collapse that circle to a line on a map. Searchers stop guessing and start walking where you said you would be. The second half is discipline. Hold to the route you wrote. The note only describes the man who follows it. In '87, I helped search for a friend of mine. We found him 400 yards from his own stove. Nobody had known which direction he went. 4 lines, 2 minutes. Nothing in any store does more for you than that. So here is the week, and none of it needs a trip anywhere. Tonight, fill 2 jugs 9 parts of 10 and freeze them. Make a bottle of jelly cotton. 10 minutes. Learn the taut line hitch off a piece of cord. 10 more. Start the grub box and glue the list inside the lid. And before the next trip, write the 4 lines and hand them to somebody. That one is free, and it is the whole reason this video exists. That was the 15th trick, and now you see why it went last. 14 of these make a camp comfortable. The 15th makes it temporary, and temporary is the whole idea. A camp is a place you are supposed to come home from. Tell me in the comments the camp trick you use that I never named. I read them, and I am not too old to learn one. Next time, how the old-timers kept meat and fish sweet for months with no freezer and no power, and why most of what they knew still beats the machine. The country does not hand out comfort. It only lends it to the men who know the rules.